Drink water.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-magab, it's time for the only news that matters. And in a recent interview with Chuck Shute, Sammy Hagar's son, Andrew Hagar, opened up about his experience on social media. He shared that he has been subjected to harassment from David Lee Roth fans and others who blame his father for the decline of Van Halen. The young musician claimed people targeted him because of the disputes surrounding the band. The hostility came not only from diehard Roth fans, but also from those who believe the Red Rocker played a role in the band's downfall. And it appears they were channeling their anger toward him. Andrew, and by the way, I had nothing to do with this. I did not harass this dude. All right. Andrew recounted how he was bombarded with daily hate messages on his social media account. He expressed surprise of the willingness of people to invest their time and energy into attacking a stranger on the internet. See, that's something I won't do. This guy never heard from me. Sammy Hagar never heard from me. I'm just here in my little channel expressing my hatred. Now, if somebody was to take what I do on YouTube and show it to Sammy Hagar or Sammy Hagar's son, I have nothing to do with it. But whoever would do that, thank you so much. So Andrew went on to say, because of the whole Van Halen feud, I have people who are massive David Lee Roth fans, or people who think my father ruined Van Halen, and they just direct all that ire toward me. I would get crazy messages every day, many messages every day, usually going into my, whatever the other folder is on Instagram for people you don't follow or people that don't follow you. But yeah, it blows my mind that people have this kind of time and want to spend that kind of emotional energy trying to completely eviscerate a stronger what the hell is this guy talking about? Really, man, he's as wacky as his dad. But people are harassing him, and because he's Sammy Hagar's son, and like I said, I have nothing to do with this, and the people that are doing it, it's funny to me, man. At least the guy gets to hear from the David Lee Roth crowd how his dad sucks. But I saw a video of his. He's got a music career, this dude. And I checked out one of his songs, and no, he sounds nothing like his dad, but it's that modern rock stuff that a lot of you may like, so go check it out. Not my thing. It'd be cool if Andrew Hagar was watching this, because Andrew, if you're listening to me right now, check it out. Just tell your dad to stop lying. That's all he does is lie to the media, saying that he sold more than Van Halen. He was as popular as Van Halen before he joined Van Halen. If he was so much popular than Van Halen, or as popular when Van Halen was at their peak with Dave, then what happened after he left Van Halen? Where's that monster solo career where you're selling out everywhere like Van Halen? No. He doesn't even go out as Sammy Hagar anymore. He's going out there with The Circle or the Chicken Shit or whatever, man. Sammy Hagar is just so full of it. And talk to your dad. Maybe people will stop attacking you because of your father in the media constantly making up stories and bad-mouthing David Lee Roth where David Lee Roth doesn't say anything about him. Then he goes on Howard Stern saying, I have no problem with Dave. He's got a problem with me. And then he goes on another interview slamming David Lee Roth, where Dave hasn't said anything about Sammy Hagar in years. The whole Van Halen thing is a very, very messy situation. People are very passionate about Van Halen. The early Van Halen. I was there. I grew up on that stuff from the first album. I was at every tour from Women and Children First, Fair Warning, Diver Down, and 1984. I went to all those shows. No band has ever touched how amazing the original Van Halen was. And then, for a free ticket, I went to go see 5150, and that was the worst show I ever seen. You know, forget like the worst band, worst show ever. From the best show ever to the worst show ever. No, wait. Actually, that wasn't the worst show ever. The worst show ever is when I saw them headline Monsters of Rock on the OU 812 tour. And believe me, I wasn't alone. I had many friends that just hated Van Hagar. We just dismissed it. We're like, forget it. The greatest live band ever is no more. They have this like guy up there with horrible lyrics and love songs and keyboards, more than 1984, way more than 1984. And it was just lousy music to my ears compared to what real Van Halen was, the original Van Halen. And I knew so many people back then that felt the same way. I know I'm not alone. Hey, look at what they're doing to Sammy's kid now. I have nothing to do with it. So as horrible as the music is to our ears, you put on top of that Sammy Hagar constantly lying, saying that he was as famous as Van Halen before he joined them, that before he joined them they used to cut the arena in half, and then when he joined Van Halen, they would like sell out that arena, where the fact of the matter is, they only played one night at the Sportatorium, where on Diver Down in 1984, both times were 2 nights. Bring that up to him, Andrew. Also bring up to him the time that he went on Howard Stern and said, I hadn't opened for anybody since 1979. Where the fact is, he did open for Journey and Aerosmith at the baseball stadium because I was there. And also, he came down here opening for ZZ Top as well. And show your dad, the RIAA, how Van Halen 1 in 1984 alone sold more than the whole Van Hagar discography. And that's not even including the millions of albums they sold on the other albums. And how Van Hagar, you know, they sold so much, but each album sold less than the last one. And you know, if Sammy would have stayed in the band, the next album would have suffered the same fate Van Halen 3 suffered. It was over by then. People were already tired of Sammy. Everybody caught up, except for, you know, some people that are stuck on that stuff. But to me, man, it's all about Edward Van Halen, Michael Anthony, Alex Van Halen, and David Lee Roth. That's right, David Lee Roth is the only frontman for Van Halen. I don't care who you can get to sing for Van Halen. You know, be it Halford, Dio, Xander, you know, even Elvis Presley. It can only be David Lee Roth. Only that voice made Van Halen special with that six-pack. No other voice would be able to carry those albums like Dave did. And on stage, untouchable. Another thing interesting about Andrew Hagar, as you can see here on his Twitter, he has 56 followers. 56! I think that's the amount of illegitimate kids David Lee Roth had back then. They all grew up, got on Twitter, started following you just to let you know that Sammy Hagar sucks. And Andrew probably thinks that too, but it's his dad. Anyway, that's it for The Only News That Matters. Thank you so much for watching. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And click the little notification bell and give this video a like. And if you like donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. So stay frosty. Listen to Black Sabbath. And smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain.
Before we get canceled, check out the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast with me and Wadzilla. We are the Podcast Kings. Link to the podcast is in the description below, and also a link to the YouTube page. Check out older episodes with visuals. And very soon, either Ian and I will learn how to go on YouTube Live. Might be soon. So check out the greatest podcast ever according to Science.com. It's also God's favorite podcast and Satan's favorite podcast as well. So check out the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast before we get canceled.